This review of Jilly Cooper's 1988 novel, Rivals, describes the plot, which focuses on the competitive world of local television and the intertwined lives of a group of wealthy, morally ambiguous characters in the English countryside. The review highlights the book's excessive sexual content, shallow character development, and outdated portrayal of relationships and social dynamics, while acknowledging the book's escapist entertainment value.
Ever crack open a book so wild?
Oh, yeah.
You almost need a scorecard to keep track of everyone.
You need like a whole wall.
And their, shall we say, entanglements.
Oh, absolutely.
That's Jilly Cooper's Rivals for you.
Definitely.
We're diving headfirst into this 1980s whirlwind of ambition affairs and enough shoulder pads to rival a football team.
And the shoulder pads, I mean, don't even get me started.
Oh, the shoulder pads?
We're going to unpack why this book...
They're practically architectural.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Even with its dated elements, still manages to grab readers decades later. Get ready for a deep dive into a world of cutthroat television.
It's wild.
Where the stakes are high
So imagine
and the morals are...
1980s England.
Well, let's just say they're flexible.
Big hair is in, shoulder pads are practically architectural, and the battle for television broadcasting rights is on.
Yeah.
But this isn't about ratings.
No.
It's about who gets to control the narrative,
It's about power.
shape opinions,
Yeah.
and ultimately
Yes.
amass power.
Ex-
And that's where we meet our main players.
Yes.
You've got Lord Battingham,
All right, so Lord Battingham.
this almost caricature of the old money elite,
Oh, he's practically dripping with disdain for anybody.
desperately trying to cling to his network, Kernium.
Yeah.
He's practically dripping disdain for anyone who dares to challenge his position.
Oh, yeah, he's so dismissive.
And challenging him they are.
Here they come.
Enter the American, Cameron Cook, a producer who oozes ambition
Oh, yeah.
and isn't afraid to shake up the British establishment.
No, he's going to stir the pot.
Talk about a clash of cultures and ego.
Oh, yeah, he's like a bull in a china shop, this one.
And let's not forget our resident rake, Rupert Campbell Black.
This guy.
He's charming, he's infuriating,
The worst.
and he represents the epitome of privilege,
Ugh,
for better or
let's be honest.
often for worse.
Mostly for worse.
He waltzes through life with this air of entitlement that would make even the most jaded socialite blush.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Honestly, trying to keep up with all the characters in Rivals
There's so many.
feels like trying to map constellations in a snow globe.
It's like a whirlwind.
But it's those characters, as outrageous and over-the-top as they are, that really make the book.
Oh, absolutely. They're fantastic.
It's like Cooper took every stock character from a soap opera,
It's true.
cranked their personalities up to 11,
To 11.
and set them loose in a world of private jets,
Yes.
country estates,
Of course.
and enough champagne to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Naturally.
It's excessive.
Oh, it's completely over the top.
It's addictive.
You can't put it down.
And it's a fascinating reflection of the 1980s zeitgeist,
It really is.
even if it's a distorted one.
Maybe a little.
And like a funhouse mirror,
Yes.
Rivals reflects some pretty interesting things about societal norms,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially when it comes to how it portrays women.
Precisely.
The casual acceptance of Campbell Black's behavior towards women, for example,
Right?
is something that would
Oh, my God.
thankfully
No.
raise eyebrows today.
It's unbelievable.
Back then, it was often played for laughs,
I know, it's terrible.
or brushed aside as just a charming rogue being a charming rogue.
Oh, he's just a rogue.
It highlights just how much attitudes have
Thankfully.
shifted.
Yes.
It makes you wonder what someone picking up Rivals for the first time today would make of it all.
I don't know.
Would they see it as a harmless romp through a more permissive time, or a glaring reminder of how far we've come?
I mean, it's hard to say.
That's the beauty of a book like Rivals.
I think it's that it makes you think.
It sparks a conversation,
Definitely.
even if that conversation can get a little uncomfortable at times.
A little bit.
But beneath the surface of all the scandal and intrigue
There's more to it.
lies a deeper exploration of ambition,
Yes.
class,
Class is huge.
and social dynamics.
Oh, yeah. It's all there.
And Cooper isn't afraid to poke fun at the very world she's depicting.
No, she's not. It's almost as if she's holding up this magnifying glass to the absurdities of this world,
Right.
highlighting the often ridiculous lengths people will go to
Oh, totally.
in pursuit of status and success.
And nobody embodies that go big or go home mentality quite like Cameron Cook.
Oh, Cameron Cook, yeah.
Right.
He's a fascinating character.
Oh, he is interesting.
Because he represents The change in times.
Yeah.
The influx of new money and new ideas that were shaking up the British establishment.
You could argue he's almost as ruthless as someone like Battingham.
Almost.
But with better PR.
Oh, much better PR.
Right.
And a keener eye for opportunity.
Yes.
He recognizes that television is about more than just preserving the old guard.
It's true.
It's about captivating audiences with fresh voices.
New perspectives, yeah.
And perspectives. Of course, he also wouldn't mind amassing a fortune and a title along the way.
Let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Ambition is the name of the game in Rivals.
Yes.
Whether it's for power, love, or the perfect social standing.
Right.
Which brings us to that comparison some people make.
Okay.
Between Jilly Cooper and, wait for it,
Who is it?
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen, really?
Okay. Wow.
Right.
That's a bit of a stretch.
It's a comparison that on the surface seems almost ludicrous.
A little bit, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
One is known for her sharp social commentary and timeless love stories.
Yes.
The other for over-the-top characters.
Slightly.
And let's just say a more liberal approach to bedroom scenes.
A little more spicy.
A little spicier, right?
Yeah.
But if you dig a little deeper,
Okay.
you start to see some interesting parallels.
Interesting.
Particularly in how they tackle social dynamics and class.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Both Austen and Cooper understand that beneath the veneer of politeness and decorum,
Right.
society is a battlefield
It's true.
where people are constantly vying for position and advantage.
Yes.
They understand that marriage,
especially if it's
particularly in the worlds they depict,
back then, can be as much a business transaction as a love match.
absolutely, yeah.
And they both have a knack for creating characters that,
They do.
while flawed,
Oh, for sure.
manage to be utterly captivating.
Yes.
But where Austen's characters often feel grounded and relatable,
Right. They're very realistic.
Cooper's are larger than life,
Over the top.
driven by these almost primal desires
Yes.
for
Of
love,
course.
power,
Always power.
and social validation.
Yes, that's a big one.
Think about the way Austen subtly skewers social climbers like Mrs. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
Now imagine that character with a much louder wardrobe,
Oh my gosh.
a penchant for gossip magazines,
Yes.
and an unquenchable thirst for champagne.
Of course.
That's Jilly Cooper's world in a nutshell.
That's it.
It's social satire on steroids.
It's true.
But even with all the over-the-top antics
Sure, outrageous
and outrageous plot twists,
Yeah.
there's something about Rivals
Yeah.
that keeps you coming back for more.
Oh, totally.
It's like that one friend who tells the best gossip,
Yes.
even if you know you shouldn't encourage them.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Right.
I have a friend like that.
And just like that, friend Rivals offers a certain kind of comfort.
What is that?
It's a reminder that no matter how messy or complicated our lives might seem,
Yeah.
they're probably still a tad more tame than a Jilly Cooper novel.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
And thank goodness for that.
I know, right?
But speaking of messy and complicated,
Oh.
we'd be remiss if we didn't revisit the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Or should I say the rakish horseman in the room?
Who could it be?
Rupert Campbell Black.
Of course. Rupert.
Ah, yes.
This guy.
The ever-controversial Rupert.
He's always a subject of much debate.
He's a character who embodies both the allure and the problems of Rivals.
He really does, yeah.
On one hand, he's this charming, charismatic figure
He is charming.
who seems to effortlessly get what he wants.
He does, doesn't he?
He's the fantasy, the bad boy with a good heart.
Right.
Or at least that's what the book wants us to believe.
Where is he?
Right.
Yeah.
Yet on the other hand, his behavior, particularly towards women, is often appalling.
The way he treats women.
He's possessive.
Oh, yeah.
He's manipulative.
Very much so.
And he seems to view women as trophies to be won rather than individuals deserving of respect.
Yeah, it's all about him, isn't it?
It's a stark reminder of how societal expectations have shifted,
Thankfully.
and thankfully so.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, though, if Rivals were written today,
Okay.
would Rupert still be the supposed heartthrob?
I don't know.
Or would he be relegated to the role of the cautionary tale,
That's a good question.
the charming but ultimately toxic love interest?
Right.
It's a question worth pondering.
It is.
But one thing is for sure.
What's that?
Whether you love him or love to hate him,
Yeah.
Rupert Campbell Black is a character who stays with you.
Oh, absolutely.
He represents a certain archetype, a certain kind of male privilege. That, unfortunately, doesn't feel entirely relegated to the past.
Unfortunately not.
And that's part of what makes Rivals such a fascinating study, even now.
Definitely.
It's a time capsule of a bygone era.
It really is.
but it also reflects certain truths about human nature and social dynamics
Yes.
that sadly haven't entirely disappeared.
It's true. They're still relevant today.
You know, it's fascinating how Rivals manages to be both a product of its time
Yeah.
and a story that still resonates with readers today.
It really does.
It's like looking at an old photograph.
Right.
You see the dated fashion choices, the hairstyles that could make a building blush,
Oh, yeah.
but you also see something timeless in the expressions,
Right.
the dynamics between people.
Yeah, human element.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just like that photograph, Rivals captures a certain cultural moment,
It does.
a snapshot of a society grappling with change and clinging to old hierarchies, even as new voices and values start to emerge.
Yeah, and you see those starting to bubble up.
And you can't talk about Rivals without talking about its lasting impact.
Definitely not.
This isn't just a book that's been read.
No.
It's a book that's been devoured,
Totally.
debated, and yes, even defended by passionate readers for decades.
People have strong feelings about Rivals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
What do you think it is about this story, with all its flaws and over-the-top moments,
That's okay.
that continues to spark conversations?
I think it's that mix of escapism and social commentary.
Right.
You know, on one hand, Rivals offers this guilty pleasure,
Total guilty pleasure.
a chance to just dive headfirst into this world of glamour,
Yes.
wealth, and intrigue.
It's intoxicating.
It's a world where champagne flows freely, designer clothes are practically a uniform, and everyone has a scandalous secret or two.
Oh, yeah. Everyone.
I mean, who wouldn't want to peek behind the curtain of that world,
I know.
even if it's just for a few hundred pages?
It's the ultimate soap opera,
It really is.
with characters who are both terrible and terribly entertaining.
The best kind of...
But on a deeper level, Rivals forces us to confront
It does make you think.
some uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the society we live in.
For sure.
It makes us question our own aspirations,
Makes you think about what you value.
our fascination with power dynamics,
Definitely.
and maybe even our own guilty pleasures when it comes to consuming stories about the rich and scandalous.
Oh, absolutely.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's that willingness to delve into the complexities of human nature.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it more than just,
Even if it's through the lens of a rather outrageous plot
Right.
that elevates Rivals beyond just a guilty pleasure.
Exactly.
It becomes a conversation starter, a way to explore themes of ambition, class, gender roles,
It's really quite a multifaceted book when you get into it.
and the often blurry lines between love and power.
It really is, yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Jilly Cooper's Rivals,
Okay.
we're left with a sense of both amusement and a little bit of unease.
Yeah, it'll do that to you.
It's a book that makes us laugh, cringe, and think, sometimes all at the same time.
It's true. Yeah,
And in a way, isn't that the mark of a truly great story?
I think so.
One that stays with us long after we've turned the final page.
Yeah.
Prompting us to re-examine our own assumptions and maybe even see the world around us with a slightly more critical
A little more critical?
and perhaps more humorous eye.
Yeah, a little bit of humor never hurts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes a little dose of Rivals, with all its over-the-top characters and scandalous situations,
It's true.
is the perfect reminder that life, even with all its complexities,
Yeah.
is rarely as dramatic
Thankful is entertaining.
or as dramatic.
That's fiction.
That's very true. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the world of Rivals.
Okay.
Will you be reaching for a glass of champagne, brushing up on your 1980s fashion history? Or maybe just shaking your head at the antics of characters who are both reprehensible and utterly unforgettable? Whatever your takeaway, we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on Jilly Cooper's enduring and often controversial masterpiece.
That's a good one.
Until next time, happy reading, and remember,
What's that?
it's always worth taking a deep dive into the stories that make us think, question, and maybe even laugh out loud.